Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah's funeral is going to be held today. His likely successor, Saifuddin, was allegedly targeted by Israel strikes in Beirut. As per reports, there is no clarity yet on whether he may have been eliminated in the strike. This comes amid Israel striking the Hezbollah headquarters in Beirut. Mystery continues over Nasrallah's mortal remains, which are yet to be seen. Reports suggest there are no injuries on his body and that he died from the sheer impact of the explosion on Hezbollah headquarters on the 27th of September. Hezbollah's media building was demolished as well in fresh Israeli airstrikes in southern Beirut. 15 Hezbollah members were also eliminated on Thursday, including attacks on several southern suburbs of Beirut. Meanwhile, Iran, in a statement, has said that de-escalation is only possible if Israel ends its war against Gaza. Listen in to Nasrallah's likely successor vowing retaliation against Israel.
هذا العدوان حتما له عقابه الخاص وله قصاصه الخاص. هذا العقاب آت حتما بإذن الله تعالى ولن نتحدث كثيرا فالكلام غدا لسيد المقاومة.
Joe Truzman, senior research analyst and editor at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy, is joining us this morning from Oregon in the U.S. Thank you so much for your time. I want to begin by asking you, how do you look at these developments vis-a-vis news reports that have indicated that the possible successor, the presumed successor of Hassan Nasrallah has been targeted, though there is very little information. It's clear that Israel is going all out in terms of eliminating the top rung of the Hezbollah, isn't it?
Correct. Israel is going all out. The way I'm seeing it right now is, if the reports are true, that Hassan Nasrallah's successor, Saifuddin, was indeed targeted and perhaps killed in this strike, it demonstrates that the Israelis have essentially total domination as far as intelligence is concerned over Hezbollah. It's been a week since Hassan Nasrallah was killed in an Israeli strike in Beirut, and it's now we're seeing the possibility that his likely successor has been killed along with others that may have been with him. So it's clear, to me at least, that the Israelis are able to track Hezbollah leaders wherever they may be, above or below ground.
How do you read into Iran's response to all of this, given that there were strikes and Israel says one person was killed in that, but in these strikes, in a series of strikes, about 180 was what was reported?
Correct. I think right now Iran is obviously waiting for Israel's response, right? But I think what Iran can do to counteract this Israeli response is the proxy militias that it supports and it funds across the region. They are in Lebanon, obviously. They're in Syria. They're in Gaza. They're in Iraq. They're obviously in Yemen. So these proxy organizations that listen to Iran, that are supported by Iran, can not only attack Israel as a strategy or to counter an Israeli attack against Iran, but they can also start pressuring other countries in the region, the UAE, Gulf states. They can become a target too by these militias that are backed by Iran. So I think this is why there's a lot of nervousness in the region right now as to how the Israelis are going to respond and if Iran will end up counteracting the Israelis if they strike them hard.
You know, please put this into perspective. On one hand, US has, of course, as expected, affirmed support to its partner, to Israel. But at the same time has said that your response should be proportionate, clearly drawing a line over attacking Iran's oil or nuclear facilities.
That's correct. I think it sort of goes back to what I was saying before, but I think the United States and other partners in the region, they're watching here. They want to know what happens between Israel and Iran. There's some nervousness, right? So, for instance, the Israelis, they may decide to attack, let's say, Iranian oil fields, right, or their oil infrastructure. What can happen from there? Oil prices may skyrocket across the globe, and that can be a problem for everyone, essentially. So I think the United States, what they're really saying to the Israelis right now is you have the right to respond to Iran, but don't get out of control here, okay? Just think about everybody else. I think that's what the message that the Biden administration is saying to the Israelis right now. But we'll see how the Israelis react. But I know for sure that Israel wants to hit Iran, and they want to hit them hard.
Mm-hmm. You know, I just want to get a sense from how this conflict has thrown open just so many questions on the US's involvement in all of this, whether there's going to be just more open involvement as far as the war between both sides are concerned.
I think it's right now, at least for now, there has been not a lot of U.S. involvement. I think the United States has been advising the Israelis, and obviously there's American military assets in the region just in case. But the problem here is, and again, this is the concern for everyone, that an all-out war breaks out. And if an all-out war breaks out, let's say between Israel, Iran, and Iran's proxies, I think the United States will have a very difficult time in not involving itself, right? Because what the United States has to do here, it has to protect its allies, especially the Israelis. So I think this is why the Biden administration is telling Israel, hey, respond, but don't go all out here. We don't want an all-out war in the region because things can get pretty messy.
Interesting, important days ahead. George Roseman, I'm going to thank you for joining in this morning and sharing your perspective with us on the war, which is very much underway. This is West Asia, which has been hit, even as both sides show no sign of unrelenting.